Before the crowd even settles, before the first collision rattles the stadium, there's one thing every opponent feels when facing South Africa: pressure. And a lot of that pressure has a name: Jesse Kriel. Rugby doesn't announce him with fireworks. There's no unnecessary flair, no chest beating. He stands there calm, silent, eyes scanning the field like a predator that already knows how the hunt ends. When the whistle blows, the transformation is instant. The switch flips, and Jesse Kriel becomes something else entirely. This isn't just a rugby player. This is a system, a weapon, a machine built for Springbok warfare. From his earliest test appearances, it was clear Kriel was different. Not louder, not flashier, just harder. Harder to beat, harder to get around, harder to survive. He didn't play rugby to entertain. He played it to dominate territory, space, and bodies. And nowhere is that more obvious than in defense. Watch him closely. Kriel doesn't chase tackles. He waits for them. His positioning is ruthless. He angles runners inward, cuts off options, and forces attackers into decisions they don't want to make. By the time contact happens, the ball carrier already knows this is going to hurt. And it does. Every tackle from Jesse Kriel lands with intent. Low center of gravity, perfect shoulder placement, arms wrapping like steel cables, legs driving through contact. There's no bounce, no slip, no second chance. One hit, one stop, reset. Again, and again, and again. Most defenders celebrate big tackles. Kriel doesn't. He gets up immediately, eyes back on the line, already preparing for the next collision. That's Springbok rugby at its core. Ruthless efficiency without emotion. But what truly separates Jesse Kriel from good defenders is consistency. Anyone can make one big hit. Few can make 20. Fewer still can do it for 80 minutes against the world's best. Kriel doesn't fade. He doesn't hide. Late in matches, when lungs burn and legs feel heavy, he's still charging forward, still folding attackers behind the gain line, still smashing rucks like the game just started. That's not talent. That's conditioning. That's mentality. Springbok coaches don't just select Jesse Kriel for what he can do. They select him for what he won't stop doing. And defense is only half the story. With the ball in hand, Jesse Kriel runs like a man who hates wasted movement. No fancy footwork, no unnecessary sidesteps. He runs straight, violent, purposeful. He attacks defenders' inside shoulders, collapses defensive structures, and forces teams to commit extra bodies just to stop him. That creates space. Space for the wings, space for the fullback, space for South Africa to suffocate opponents even more. Kriel doesn't need to score tries to control games. His value shows up in broken defensive lines, in exhausted tacklers, in opponents second-guessing every carry down his channel. He makes the simple option dangerous, and that's terrifying for any defense. And then there's the trust. In the Springbok system, trust is everything. One missed tackle can collapse an entire defensive wall. One bad read can cost a World Cup. Kriel is trusted because he rarely makes mistakes. His decision-making is cold, fast, and accurate. Drift when needed, jam when required. Shut down overlap. Kill momentum. Coaches love players they don't have to worry about. Teammates love players who clean up messes. Opponents hate players who never go away. That's Jesse Kriel. He doesn't talk trash. He doesn't showboat. He doesn't chase headlines. He just keeps coming. And that's what makes him dangerous. Because when the pressure rises, when the stadium shakes, when the game turns brutal and ugly, Jesse Kriel is exactly where he belongs, in the middle of chaos, delivering structure through violence, turning momentum with one perfectly timed collision. This is not a highlight reel hero. This is a Springbok enforcer. We'll go deeper, into the moments that defined him, the big matches, the unseen sacrifices, and why Jesse Kriel isn't just a player in green and gold. He's a standard every Springbok defender is measured against. Great players survive big matches. Elite players perform in them, but a rare few are forged by pressure. Jesse Kriel belongs to that last category. Because when the stage grows larger, when the jerseys get heavier and the noise gets louder, that's when his value truly reveals itself. World Cups, rugby championship clashes, deciding tests where one mistake can rewrite history. These are the moments that expose weakness. And Jesse Kriel doesn't crack. In Springbok Rugby, selection isn't about reputation, it's about trust under fire. Coaches don't care how good you look against lesser opposition. They care about who they can send into battle when everything is on the line. And time after time, Kriel is the name written down. Why? Because he understands pressure rugby. When opponents chase quick ball in wide space, Kriel shuts doors before they even open. He reads body language, shoulder angles, foot placement, tiny details most fans never notice. He sees danger seconds before it happens, and by the time attackers react, they're already wrapped up, driven backward, momentum killed. These aren't lucky reads, they're rehearsed thousands of times. Film sessions, defensive drills, repetition under fatigue. Jesse Kriel's rugby IQ is built on obsession with getting it right when it matters most. And when the match becomes chaos, Kriel becomes calm. There's a moment in every brutal test where structure collapses, missed tackles, broken lines, panic spreads. That's where leaders emerge, not always with words, but with actions. Kriel doesn't scream, he shows. He steps in front, he makes the hit, he realigns the line, he drags teammates back into shape with effort, not emotion. That kind of presence doesn't show up on stat sheets, but coaches see it, players feel it, opponents sense it. Then there's the sacrifice. Jesse Kriel plays a role that guarantees punishment. Inside center, defensive linchpin, crash line enforcer. He absorbs collisions from forwards running full speed. He throws himself into rucks where bodies pile and boots fly. He makes cackles knowing he'll be targeted again and again and again, and he never complains. Because Springbok Rugby demands something deeper than skill. It demands submission to the system. Kriel accepts that his job isn't glory, it's control, it's discipline, it's doing the ugly work so others can shine. And yet, when the moment demands it, he delivers on attack too. Big matches often come down to one carry, one line, one decision. Jesse Kriel understands timing better than most. He picks moments when defenses are fractured, when shoulders are turned, when a half gap is enough. He doesn't force plays, he waits, then strikes with brutal efficiency. That's why defenders respect him, because he doesn't waste chances. Physically, Jesse Kriel looks like he was engineered in a lab, thick through the shoulders, dense through the core, built to win collisions. But the real engine is upstairs. His mental durability is what separates him from players with similar physiques. He absorbs pain, resets, and keeps performing at the same level. No drop-off, no excuses, no fear. That's why year after year, new faces rotate around him, but Kriel remains. Systems change, coaches adjust strategies, opponents evolve, yet Jesse Kriel's relevance never fades because the fundamentals never change. Defense still wins championships. Discipline still breaks teams. Relentless pressure still suffocates opponents. And Jesse Kriel embodies all three. He's not the loudest Springbok, he's not the most celebrated, but ask any coach who they trust with the hardest job, the channel that must never fail, and his name comes up every time. Because when everything is on the line, Jesse Kriel doesn't rise to the occasion, he is the occasion. A player built for finals, forged for collisions, designed for chaos. Jesse Kriel is proof that greatness doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it just keeps showing up, hitting harder, thinking faster, and refusing to break. Not flashy, not fragile, not replaceable. A Springbok standard, a defensive fortress, a rugby machine. And long after the noise fades and trophies gather dust, Jesse Kriel's legacy will remain in the hardest currency rugby knows: respect.